Oh, okay. Um, Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining. We had some technical difficulties yesterday, which actually stopped the live. We stopped the live. So today is making a meditation for what happened yesterday. Sorry for whatever happened. It won't happen again. Such a repeat. Now going on with the web pen test walkthrough that we ought to have taken. Just let me share this. All right. Okay, so when it comes to web pen testing, okay, um, all right. Now, when it comes to web pen testing, we're talking about how to test for the security in the website in a web application. Now, we all know that websites are being built by developers and software engineers and all. And if good security measures, it could cause a great casualty. I mean, they could get a security breach. They could get a data breach if the web itself is not actually well secured enough. And that is why we need to make sure that as pen testers or AppSec engineers or AppSec testers, we have to make sure that those web applications are well tested and trusted that yes, it is well secured. And one thing about web is that they do have this thing that we do some does it twice a year, some once a year, but it's not advisable to make a pen test for a website once a year because every day we have new threats, new vulnerabilities, new things emerges every day, and you can never tell. Your website um might be vulnerable to that thing that you think it might not hit your website, and that is why we need to always test our website whenever we want to, whenever we have it running up and running at least 3 times a year, 4 times a year. I mean, as far as you can afford, because normally a pen test is usually very, very expensive. That is why most startups and most organizations can't actually afford it. And that's why HSN actually comes forward, Every Security Network, my startup, it actually makes pen tests more affordable and we focus more on startups and small businesses that couldn't afford a normal full pen test in a full form. So that's what we are bringing to you. And with our product, it will even make it more easier where you can make subscriptions and may avoid your pen tests every month, every 6 months. You get like that. So that is how it's going to be. So to do this now, this is a pen test walkthrough, and we'll be working through Portswigger, working through Vulnbank, and Owasp too, because there's a way you make a pen test in your website. And if you want to do that, there's a method you follow from the beginning to the end, from recon to exploitation or post exploitation. Sorry, from recon to reporting. That's something that we all follow when it comes to pen testing a web application, and that is what we do. And when we do that, we write the reports, give to the organization, and tell them what they can work on and what to fix. Now, this actually made the website more secure, and you can actually relax that okay, this thing has been tested about two few weeks ago, so it should still be secure as far as there's no new security breach for any framework out there. For example, when um, React RCE came out, remote code execution actually came out. People using React for their web application will all run to change the version and update it immediately because the older one now has been outdated and it now has a remote code execution on it. So they have to change it so they don't get affected by the mass. And even as we speak, there are still some organizations that are still using the old version and don't really want to update it because they feel like they might not be affected. And to their own loss, it might actually happen someday if they're not careful. That's why security is not something we should treat for later. Security is something we should take now and very, very seriously. Okay, so I'll be going through some of these things and we'll see. So there's something called the PTES, the Pen Testing Execution Guidelines or something. That is the form that we all follow when it comes to pen testing. So I'll be sharing my screen now and we'll be able to see what it's going to say. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, this is on Dobro now. All right, the PTES, this is the penetration testing execution standard of seven main sections. Now, in pen testing, there's seven main sections, seven main things that we follow when making a pen test. And the pen testing execution standard, this cover everything related to a penetration test, from the initial communication and reasoning behind the pen test through the intelligence gathering and threat modeling phase, where testers are working behind the scenes in order to get a better understanding of the organization through vulnerability research, exploitation, and post-exploitation. Now, where the technical security expertise of the testers come to play and combine with business's understanding of the engagement, and finally to the reporting, which captures the entire process in a manner that makes sense to the customer and provides the most value to it. Now, the purpose of doing this is that when you write after finishing your pen test, you write it in a way that even um organizations will be able to see it and understand what you are actually writing up there. So if your report is not well detailed enough or well broken down enough, because when it comes to these things like this, you don't use big words that they won't be able to comprehend, because those are security words, those are people only people in your field can understand those words. So that's why we use words that even they will be able to grab easily and understand. Now this is the seven phases that the PCS has given us the guidelines to follow. And the first one is pre-engagement interaction. Now this pre-engagement interaction is just interacting with the website, interacting with the web application, just navigating around it, seeing the functionality, seeing what it's doing, know what the website is doing, know about it. The intelligence gathering is start gathering intelligence on what intelligence gathering is also known as reconnaissance in this aspect. You can call it reconnaissance, where you are gathering information about the web application, the framework it uses, the programming language it uses, the backend, all these things where you use Appalizer, you use Subfinder to gather the subdomains and all. And this usually takes more time. And this even covers about 70% of the whole web pen testing workflow, because enough information will give you what you need to know. Now, if you have enough information of the web application, you will know how to go about it, how to start testing, where to start testing. For example, you can't see a normal web application that, like, let's say LinkedIn or Twitter. Now you want to test that kind of website and you are testing for um, business logic. Business logic won't can't even be on that application, because they have nothing to do with um, spending. Aside from the premium side aspect, they don't sell. It's not an e-commerce website, so business logic flow can't be on that application, obviously. So from this intelligence gathering or reconnaissance, this is where you have to know that, okay, this is the kind of vulnerability that is possible there and all. And once you are done with intelligence gathering, then you get to your threat modeling. Now threat modeling is um in application security. This threat modeling is what we usually do before actually building um, a web application, so, or mobile application. And this is where we start showing out the authentication of the third party and laying trust boundaries that, okay, this place is where you should actually pay attention to the most. There's kind of vulnerability that might happen or occur from here, so we pay attention to that aspect. And those are the things we call trust boundary, because it's already bringing in third party, or probably there's a kind of authentication there that is that might be critical in some kind of way. And from there, you move on to vulnerability analysis. Now, vulnerability analysis is when you use your Nessus or OpenVAS or Nuclei to scan the web application for possible vulnerabilities that might be there. And most of the times, this naturally gives a false positive, which means that it might show that there are 10 vulnerabilities there. Meanwhile, it might be just be 5, or there might even be 22. That's just how it is. So manual testing is actually more um important and more productive than scanning, because scanning sometimes can give you, but most of the times it give you false positive, and in most cases you won't be able to exploit it, because it's just you just scan it and you won't be able to exploit it because you've seen it there, but to exploit it now becomes the issue. Now let's say now you make your vulnerability analysis, you scanned it. Now exploitation is now attacking through the vulnerability that they have. Now let's say you scan it and it brings out that it has a vulnerability of reflected XSS. So now it starts testing for reflected SSS. That's what you call exploitation. Start exploiting it, start putting in payloads to pop, to pop it out that, okay, this is an SSS is here. So after you do that, you screenshot and all, and you can move on to post exploitation. And this most of the times in post exploitation usually done in the Linux, in Linux command line, in the command line. This is where post exploitation is mostly effective, because this is where you can also do it on the web. Change, on the web most of the time is like changing user, becoming an admin, and creating a kind of way to be able for you to access the web application anytime you want. So that's escalating privileges. We call it privilege escalation. Now this post exploitation, when you're doing it on CMD, you are probably trying to turn yourself into a root user. If the let's say the flaw is from the network side, so you can just try and turn yourself to root and all. Now you've gained privileges, you've probably created a backdoor server if possible, and then you make all those things, make all those findings, screenshot it, and then add to your report, and then you have your report writing. Then write a report. There's a particular software that helps with reporting. I have it in my Git repo. Probably maybe some other day you have talk about that. Now the importance of all this is not just to prove that you can actually hack a website or you can pen test a website, is to show them their flaw and they should work on it so that external attackers won't actually attack it. Now there's something we call red teaming, and this red teaming, there are people now, there are red teamers. Normally, pen testing is in red team, but there are people called red teamers because red teamers, those ones, they actually they simulate attacks to the organization like the real hackers, and they do that testing the blue teamers and seeing how strong their security is or how they can go undetected, going the APT style. Now when they're going the APT style in red team, when they're going the APT style, they're trying to go undetected without being detected by any by the SOC analyst, by the people behind the triagers, and also they will be able to see if they can do all that in the organization without being detected. And what's the reason for all this is just to test their security, how strong it is, how fast they are in mitigating that kind of thing if it occurs in a real life sense. So what would they do if this has happened in a real sense? Now that's just all the things that we need to know in pen testing, what we need to know as a normal pen tester, as web pen testing, because pen testing has many phases. We have mobile pen testing, we have web, we have cloud. In fact, we have network pen testing in fact with it. So this, and for this we're just doing weapon testing. So this is just the PTES guideline that we have for running a pen test. So this is what you would do, and all during all this they have their own tools they use, they have how they do it and what they do. So I have a document written down already on how a full weapon test workflow from reconnaissance to reporting, and the tools too that we're using for them. Now, in web pen testing, maybe some of these days I will make a video on subdomain enumeration, on all these things, using all these tools for you in your workflow and how to use them in normal pen tests. Now, I won't be explaining all this in detail, as I'll imagine that most of you already know what it is. Now we have the passive recon, doing your reconnaissance, and it's called attack surface discovery. The goal is to identify everything that exists before touching functionality. So before even touching anything, you want to have a passive recon. We have passive recon and active recon. Now passive recon is probably most of the time you're not even interacting with the web application itself. You're just gathering things around it without touching it. So we have AMAS also finder for subdomain discovery, asset finder for asset enumeration, CRT but SH, that's certificate transparency lookups, because some web applications, their certificate actually expires long time ago, and from there they can actually get attacked, but some people don't even pay attention to it. That's why it's actually very important to check it. Way back URL, this to check former endpoints to see if they're still working, some API endpoints to see if they've closed it, and if they've not, you tried it and it's worked, then that's another flaw on its own that I could report to them. Vaporizer will built with this to check the tech stack, fingerprinting, and all. We have GitHub search and Google Docking to see if there's any misconfiguration, API leaf keys, or anything. Now, this is just a normal, this is the flow. This is what probably we're using to do our pen test some of the times if we are, less busy some other day or so. Now, I'll be going through Portswigger right now. I haven't opened it. Now, the reason why I'm using Portswigger is because this is a vulnerable application, and I won't be using a real world application for this live video. Now, somebody might actually go to bulk crowd and pick a target and then start our weapon test from there, so you can see how it's really done on live, live web application. Okay, so topics or contents. Ads. So go on now solving some labs, and you see here, Portswigger has every single web vulnerabilities you might actually think of. In case you want to practice or learn web vulnerabilities, we have SQL, XSS, CSRF, jacking, CORS, XSE, SSRF, HTTP request smuggling, OS command rejection, JWT, API, GraphQL, JW, everything is here. You can just come here and start practicing what you want to do. So most of the times I actually don't use to solve labs like that, but there's one lab I just like to come to most of the times, which is access control. Now, this access control is called they call it BAC, broken access control. That is, the access control has been broken. Now, in this scenario, this is where and now I'll be trying this broken access control on Portswigger and on Vulnbank, because this is what I like to take most of the times. Now, in one pen testing, normally the first vulnerabilities you know about is actually authentication. You should know about authentication, and then you know about access control. From there, information disclosure. Then you had SSRF, CSRF, and all, because those are one of the most critical parts that could actually take down an entire system if care is not taken. So these are the things that we'll be looking into. Now, let's go from access control. In my previous videos, I think I've solved this first three and all. So I might not even start from the number one, unprotected admin functionality. Now, just believe that this is a vulnerable application. So I won't be doing anything like I won't be doing some sort of recon or anything, because this is already a vulnerable application and we already know what we're looking for. So there won't be any recon, there won't be any subdomain, anything like that. Nothing is going to be happening from that aspect. So now from here, now let's see this. In web pen testing now. Now this is a vulnerable application, but I'll take it for you as it's a real something that we don't know anything about. Now this is that this lab has an admin panel endpoint which identifies administrators using a forgeable cookie. Solve the lab by accessing the admin panel and using it to delete user Carlos. You can log in your own account using the following credentials. Now, this is something this is okay, this is a web now. Now you enter, what we are going to do next? You see, you just find something like this. Of course, the first thing you'll be doing is just looking into everything, checking the home. Now this is the home. Read the details from here and see. Run back to the list or something, then you can see how everything is all turning out. Can come to my account, then they say I can log in. All right, so in here they said I can add an admin panel. Okay, all right. So the only way I can get to the admin panel is using a forgeable cookie. Now, how do I use a forgeable cookie? So let me win now. Then Peter, logging in my. All right, I've logged in now. ID winner. So of course, I've captured the request here. Don't know if you can see this, but take a look at anyways. Let me just make it bright. Yeah. All right. So it's big enough for everyone to see now. Okay. I guess I have to filter it out. So this is Bob Suits. You can always see a video. I made a video on how to use Bob Suits. So now I want to filter out all this because I don't like all I'm seeing. I just want Portswigger. Okay. So reloaded. Okay. This is my ID. Now I've gotten this now. I'll send to repeater where I can actually run the stores of all this is not disturbing. Okay, now there I have my account winner, and this is the response, this is the request and response. This box it. So if you're familiar with it, good luck. If you are not familiar with it, you can always go and learn about it. Now I want to get into I want to have an admin access, then delete a user called Carlos. So the first one I'll be trying here is changing this into um, so first one I'll be doing is changing this into admin to see if I can actually get in with nothing. Found. Wow, that was easy. So it's found an admin, but let me see if I can get into it. Okay, so now the admin did not log in. It found it, but didn't yet add access to it. So it exists for all we know. And it not exist now. So let me try sending an email. And see, let me update an email. Let me update the email. Because we have email here and it's there for a reason. So one thing about this is that just test all functionalities to see how everything is okay. The email did not send. Let's try that again. Okay. All right. Send to repeater. So here I have it already, and you can see it's already giving me this admin fault because I tried to update my email and it's showing me how I'm an admin or not. Now this is actually very number one, an admin self should not even be on the request, but now I can manipulate it and change it to true, and we'll see if I'm able to get in. Of course, I'm able to get in now. Now I've changed my admin to true, access one false to true because I'm using a forgeable cookie. This cookie can be used for anything. Now, this is normally just my cookie, but then it also works for the admin, which means this cookie is forgeable and it's not safe. You get my point? So now I've gotten this. I just need to search for Carlos on here. Okay, Carlos is not here. Um, delete. Okay, I need to first of all get access as the admin first of all. So that will be the first thing I'll be doing, admin, because it's true. So I'll get to admin access by doing this, by entering these endpoints. This actually sometimes can be easy, and sometimes you can want to go crazy because sometimes I not just go the way you expected it to. So now I'm an admin, and let me see if I can do this without Carlos, of course. Now this is the endpoint for deleting Carlos. Just come here and change the endpoints and delete. Now, mind you, if you're on a normal pen test, I don't even need to delete the user colors unless the user colors of who I created myself. Now, if it's a real user in normal pen test, you don't need to delete anything. As you've gotten like this, you can just screenshot it and then add it to your report that you were able to, have access to deleting of a user on this application. Because if you do that, it's affecting a real user, and in fact, that might actually come as a consequence because you're not doing things ethically. At least you're not meant to delete a real user just to prove that you can do something. Now, I'm trying deleting this now, and it has been deleted. So obviously, I've even solved the lab without even going to it. Now that's just one aspect. So one thing about this is that you as you test everything, as you see everything, you try to get access. Normally, you should have a list of kind of vulnerabilities you would test on a website. That's after you add your recon and all sort of things like that. And that's usually comes after once you've had your recon, you've had your threat modeling, you've done your threat analysis, and you've seen that okay, these are the possible vulnerabilities it might have, then you start checking in everything you want to check on that regard. And that's actually how it goes. So I'll be doing something on Vulnbank too. But before that, I don't think I'll probably go to Vulnbank anymore because there are a lot of things that you might actually check for, some a lot of things that you can just go into. So let's come here, because there are a lot of kind of vulnerabilities that can come in place when it comes to the web. Now, this says that this is user ID controlled by request parameter with unpredictable user IDs. Now, Commando Skills said something on X yesterday. He said, if you take your time to actually solve at least one vulnerability on web application every two days, at least on Portswigger, you're solving one vulnerability every two days. You're trying to learn it every two days. By the time you, I mean, after a month or two, you'll be able to solve every web vulnerabilities. You'll be able to, test for every web vulnerabilities. Now, this one is saying user ID control parameter with unpredictable user ID, which means that normally this ID is unpredictable. You can't even think of it. But then this is a vulnerable bank. Sorry, this is a vulnerable application. So I don't even know if the application has this vulnerability. What will I do? I just test for it normally. Now I will try to delete all my former requests. Now I've deleted those ones. And I'll try to access this lab and then start solving. Now, identify GRD, solve the lab, find the GRD for Carlos, submit the API key as the solution. Now, I'm looking for the API key for Carlos. User API key shouldn't be leaked, but then let's see if I can get the one for Carlos API key. It's actually be nice, actually. Cool. So now I already have access to log in as my own Peter. Okay, now this is the API key for Winner, not for Peter. Now I'm not even meant to see Winner Carlos API key because that is another user. But if I'm able to get it, that is a very critical vulnerability that I can use to actually take over his account from my own end. So now let's see if I can just manipulate Winner to Carlos and see if I will be able to get in just by using that. Now here it is. This is the ID for Winner. Yes, because this is Winner. Okay, so this is Winner. This is the API key. Send to repeater. Let's see what we will do from here. Because most time you just see a lot of endpoints. You just pick one, because sometimes you can actually load an application and you see like 1,000 endpoints. You won't even know which one to start with. You won't know which one to go in for. Well, it's a very good thing. You just pick anyone and then you start going for it and start checking for it. Now, Winner. This Winner, this is my PI key. But I have to get access as Carlos. So how do I do that yet? Let's see if Carlos exists here, because it might actually be possible. It's possible that Carlos even exists here. Okay. Okay, there's no way for me to actually change it because it's an ID I can't even predict. So I can't even predict the kind of ID that Carlos is using. Now, if you go to a web pen test like this and you see this kind of ID, you might not be able to know what you want to do. Now, this is an ID. Now, I'm checking to see if I can see an ID for another user, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, let's see what we can do. We have email here. All right, I can update my email. All right, let me try to update my email and see if I can do anything from that end. So update email. Okay, now I've updated my email. Let's see, email updated. All right. Send to repeater, of course. Now this email updated. I come to the repeater. I send this. Okay. If sometimes if you're doing on this practice on Portswigger, don't just rush into the solution because you always think that you might not be able to solve it. Don't always rush into solution. That's why we'll actually be doing Vulnbank after this vulnerabilities to see. Now find the GUID for Carlos. Okay. So now I'm looking for the GUID. Well, let's see if I can even find the GUID for this. This is GUID. This is the ID for, okay. Now there's a lot of things I can try from here. So let me try. Okay, on this fourth endpoint, let me try changing this ID to just Carlos. And let's see if I'll be able to get anything. It was an ID that was there, but then I changed the name to Carlos. Normally, you wouldn't be able to see it, but then it found it. And let's see if I can get anything from this end. It's probably tell me to, log in as it will probably tell me to log in. But let's try it out first. Of course, it's told me to log in. Now I have to log in as Carlos to get the API key. Now how do I get the GUID for Carlos? All right, so I'm in the same habit. I've run out of options here, but let's see what we have. Okay, we have all this. Now, for all we now know that Carlos account actually exists. Now it's time to get this API key. It's GUID. All right, let me search for GUID. Let me see if I can get GUID from here now. In the API key. Mhm. Okay. So what do you think I'm going to do from here now? Let me even see if people are here. All right. So what we are testing for is broken access control. Access control is what we're doing. We're doing for access control. So you can actually always watch the video later after this. It's not like you can always watch it after this. This thing you can watch it later. So now I'm trying to get a GUID for the API key for Carlos, but all I'm seeing here is winner. And I've updated my email. I can't find anything. What will I do next? Yes, what will I do next? What will I do next? You have to think now, critical thinking. Now, to be honest with you here, even I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to think as hard as I can to get it done because that is why we are called researchers. Sometimes it takes days to actually get some things done. All right, I'm checking the login. The login. Okay, there's no winner. There's no Carlos like that. They can't be Carlos. They can't be Carlos. Except for API. Nah, doesn't exist. Wow. This is awesome. There's nothing how to use this one to do. I have a session cookie. Okay. Um, is there anything that can be done for a session cookie? Let's find out. Hmm. Session cookie. Oh my God. Wow. This is normally if I in cases like this, I just take a break and rethink and come back to it and probably something might pop up. But in this case, this is the live view, so I can't even do that. So it's what it can be done. Session. Okay. I found it. Let me say Control Z. Control Z, the former ID. Mm, okay. Uh, this is very, very awesome. Or will I add a JSON file, a JSON to this request? Probably if you add a JSON request to this thing, maybe it might bring up something. Or instead of going through the ID, let me see if I can just change it to Carlos direct. Not found, of course. Not found. Let's see, and of course nothing can show up. It is just a normal encoded stuff. All right. So do I give up? No. Of course I don't. But we waste up time because I want to really go to another thing now that we can solve it. So we check for the solutions now. Now it says find the okay. Now I remember. Now I see how we can actually get it done. So the thing is that to actually get to a user's, you want to get to another user's account. If you can't perform an IDOR by changing ID, if you can't forge a cookie, then the next thing you could do, or you can't even enumerate out of it, the next thing you could do is if it's something like you can just check a blog post. So I didn't even think of this. Now this actually something very crazy. Now in a web application when you build and someone can actually access another person's account just through their post. Imagine on Twitter now on X, I can take in another person's account just by what he posted. That's actually something very critical. Now, say as you look for a blog post by Carlos. Now, try check the post one by one. Okay, fine. Thank God. The first one is actually Carlos. So, what will I do from here? Obviously, I think I'll click on it again. I'll click on Carlos. All right. Come here and see if I'll see. Okay, this is a post ID. It's for Carlos. Now, that is a user ID. Now, see, look at something. Just from his post, I was able to get his ID just from the post because this is now his ID. Look at it here. This is his ID. His ID is right here. Now I can just change this ID with winner's ID and I'll get in as Carlos. So I don't even need to send to repeater. I just copy this, come back to repeater, come back to where I was, where I updated my email or anyone I can use. I can use anyone. Put Carlos ID and let's see if I get him. See, I got him. Now I'll just have to search for Carlos and see if I got access. Now you see, I got access to Carlos just by user ID. Now in the pen test, you have to be very skeptical about what you are testing and about what you are doing. You check everything and see anything abnormal. Now, I am going to test the website. And in fact, as a Bob and hunter, Access Rat once told me that you don't go to a target or a web by just testing any vulnerabilities. You check everything and see something that is abnormal. You look for something that is abnormal. Now, this is abnormal because I just checked someone's blog post and I'm seeing his user ID just by his blog post. Now, let's go and check other users' blog posts and let's see if we'll be seeing their own user ID. Now, if you haven't seen their own user ID, it means that this particular person, his own is broken, and we really can't give a reason why. And that's another thing. Now, this is administrator, and let's see if I can see his own user ID. Now, of course, I can see his user ID too, which means that everybody on that has the account on this application user ID is exposed. You can actually categorize this as, you know, you can't say PII leak. This is typically account takeover, ATO. This is typically account takeover, broken access control leading to ATO. If you report this kind of bug on bug crowd or something, this kind of thing on bug crowd, or maybe account, if you report this kind of findings, you could actually get a very good bounce from it because is just very simple to do. This is a normal broken access control leading to normal account takeover, and it's very critical. So this is why we need web pen testers and to actually test our website and see if everything is secure. And more also, we are concerned about the CIA triad. I mean, that is what we are all working towards to make sure that every user's data, every customer's data, every consumer's data is well protected and preserved. So I've done that for here because now obviously we see the bugs and we know how we can get access to it and all. Well, this is just a demo, as we all know, this is just a demo something. So let me now go to Vulnbank. Vulnbank. Now this one now don't have solution. You just have to keep on testing everything and checking everything for yourself. So let me just log in. I have an account here already. This is the account I use most of the times. See, I've logged in. This is my balance. You can see I've spent out of it. You see. I think I need to buy Coke or something. I have my loan. I've been asking for loan. Okay, I've not been able to solve this vulnerability of approving my own loan because I won't find my loan. I've actually logged in. I've gone to the admin. I won't find my loan. Now I want you to look at this thing very carefully. This is a normal bank application. And you see profile, money transfer, loan, transaction history. Log out. There's nothing like admin anything here. There's nothing I can do here. I've updated my file. I've done everything I could do. So now let's see. Now, I want to get access as an admin. I want to check for broken access control to see if admin endpoint is actually, Open, not found. It's not even found. Normally, if it's available to tell me either found or unauthenticated, or redirect me to login page. But this is not existing, which is not even existing. So let me check for administrator. Now this is after all my recon and all. I've done my recon, I've done my post, everything. So I have to now start testing for endpoint and seeing if I can get access to anything. Now admin is not working, admission is not working. Let me check robots.txt. Not found. Nothing. Now, a normal pen tester would think this is already safe because you don't even go deep. So what's wrong? Because it's not even going deep. Now I have this now. But I want to get access to something deeper. I want to see if I can actually see anything. Mainly doing that doesn't mean it's actually safe already. Mainly doing that doesn't mean it's actually safe already. So um I'll come to my Bob because I've captured all the request of this. Oh yes. I've changed, let me change it to vulnbank.org. Now this one I'm doing is filtering my browser, giving me only this result. So I won't see anything from Portswigger or anywhere else. Only things from Vulnbank. Okay, now I've seen my Vulnbank. Okay, my login, my dashboard. I have to see if I can get access to admin as I said. So send to the repeater. My login. This is just the login. I don't need anything. So user ID 12613. But the user ID is not even present here, so it might even be hard to change the user ID. All everything here is unchangeable. You have to do it from here. And on here, I can't even see anywhere I can do anything. So unless I write a JSON file from here, let's send that one to. So cancel. Send, then send. So this is the one I'm focusing on, the dashboard. Now this is the dashboard, and this is the dashboard of the what we're seeing, dashboard. So this is the dashboard. This is what we are seeing. This is what we're seeing on Bob Suits. This is everything. Now this is it. I want to get access. Let's say I'm trying to get in as admin. The one of the thing you actually focus more on the most is seeing if you can actually get access as an admin, or change user, or become another user, or delete a user. Those kind of things. So one of the things you'll be looking at the most are those things. Now I'm looking at this now. I want to get access as an admin, but in here, let me see if there's any admin URL open, because sometimes admin endpoints usually gets open. Most of the time it's usually in the source code. So let me even check for source code. Let me check source code. So let me see if I can see anything. Control K, I think. Yes, no, not Control K. Control F. Yeah, Control F. It will pop down below. Control F. So let me say admin. Nothing. Endpoint or something. No. User ID. No. Okay. I can't find anything yet. So I come back here, and what's the most critical thing do you think you see? Now let me see. Kindly drop in the comment section. What's the most critical thing you are seeing here right now? From here to here, upward. From here to here, upward. Kindly drop if you can know one critical thing you are seeing right now. I want to know if some of you already know about this thing before. What's the most critical thing you are seeing right now? Right now, we are seeing two possible vulnerabilities that is already taking place. We are seeing two possible vulnerabilities. So let me see if you see what is going on here. Well, okay. All right, we have two people watching. All right, so I believe probably you did not see what I just said. So let me just go back. Mm. The most critical thing we are seeing here right now is this cookie. This cookie. Now this is a cookie, and I'm seeing this to ACAO on star. So let me first of all test for CORS vulnerability, because now I see a possibility for CORS vulnerability, and I'll test for it. And that's cross origin resource something. Yes, cross origin resource, where I can actually go into another site from here And most of the time, it can be my own evil website that I have, and I can redirect user to this. So let me see if it's possible. Let's say origin, um, evil, or let me say gbtech.com. So let me see if it will reflect here. So I send and it reflected. You have a CORS vulnerability. Now the fact is not that it's not only that will actually make it work. Is it accepting? Now this is ACA. We have ACAC. Access is it access control accept something or that one actually would be the one to tell me if this was really accepted. But each showing here has already proven a lot of points already. So since I'm not seeing any accepted something here, I won't even bother going deeper. But then there's something we have to focus more on this cookie. So come to inspector here. Now see what this cookie is made of. And cookie, JWT cookie is made of. This is a JWT cookie, JSON Web Token. So this is a token cookie. There is in three form. We have the header, the payload, and the signature. And the signature is usually made of the header and payload combined together. So the mixture of the header and the payload is what gives us the signature. Now this is the header. Everything is separated by dots. This is the header here, and I can see the coded form. Type DWC ALG HS256. Wow. Now this is HS256. We have HS256. We have RS256. The most safest that we know is RS256, but now we're seeing HS. So let me see what I can do from here. Let me check the payload. Admin false, Gabi 2. Now, I would like to turn into an admin. So this is false. Let me change it to true. Normally, if I manipulate this thing, it should tell me unauthorized because the signature is not matching that of an admin. So I want to see if this signature is actually forgeable or if it can even work without a signature. So in this thing now, if I delete a signature, it should not even take me in. It should tell me that unauthorized or signature not recognized or something. But then I want to see if the signature is forgeable or it's just useless there and can work for anything. And the fact that it's HS56 will even give us more clue and mean that okay, there's possibility that this might actually, be true or something. So let me see from here. Um, okay, so what will I do first? Let me try. Let me see this. This false. I think it's true. Is that enough? Send. Unauthorized. Nice. Okay. Now I'm not authorized as an admin. Let me see this header. Nothing can be done here. So I'll try deleting this since it's not authorizing me as because of the signature. So let me try deleting the signature. Still unauthorized. Okay. This is getting fun. Let me remove this one first because I won't be disturbing. Still unauthorized. Okay, now I'm unauthorized, which is completely normal, and that is what it's meant to do. But I'm trying to access dashboard as admin. So let me see. Maybe I move this dashboard and turn it to admin. Let me see. Let me see. Is what you'll be doing as a pen tester most of the times. You just try. Everything doesn't go with one flow. You test and retest and retest and retest. Okay, admin not found. That is nice. Okay, all right. So I'll use jwt.io now to forge this thing for me and give me a signature for it. You get so now there's no signature here, but I want to see if I can forge the signature with it. Okay, so let's go back to normal. False, all right. So now I'll copy this whole jwt. I'll go to jwt.io. This is where you come and run with JWT and it forges for you into what you want. You change what you want to change and then it gives you. So JWT encoder actually. So I want this. All right. I will drop my JWT here. Okay. Go down. Drop my own. I see it. So add. Okay. Then I come to decoder. Admin. What else? That's um, okay, admin show. This is secret. What are we talking about secrets? Okay, so I drop my signature here. Have you helped me to do something about it? Okay, nothing can be done here. gwt.io. Is it XWC? Is it? Uh, all right, there's this GWT that can be used to actually forge this cookie. So I'll forge this in for me. How can I forget that name right now? Okay. Um, uh, oh, okay. Let me go to Commando Skips. Yes, because in his GitHub he has it. So let me go look for it. Because that's the tokens, the JWT stuff I use. Uh, okay, come to the repo. This is actually fun for me. I'm loving all this. No, 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 no. Where is it? Wow, wow, wow. I'm looking for that tool and I have to find it because that's what I'll be using here and what I want all of us to be using most of the time. We want to push something like that. So I have to solve this application, solve this. Let me see my battery percent. Wow, 22. I might as well end this live soon and continue some other day, but I have to solve this one first. All right, so then it left me no choice. I'm going to his X account. That is where I will see it. Bear with me, okay? This is fun for me. Aha, xjwc.io. Of course, of course. I found it. And this is cool fun for me now. So xjwc.io. How could I have forgotten that? That's ridiculous, you know? So yeah, then copy this again. I can come here, I paste it here and change this to true generate token. Of course. As a generator is for me. Now I have the signature with it. I'll actually help my life in this lab. So delete, then drop the new token, then send, and voila, I got access to it. Now this might look like a film, but it is not a film. And yes, this is the endpoint because now look at this endpoint. This is the admin endpoint, super secret underscore admin in an E being 3 format. I mean that's very very clever, very very clever. I mean The not going deep enough, might not even see it. And now here, I'm here now in the admin panel. Now let me see if I can just reload and get to the admin panel. Now it's not working. So I guess I will have to copy it and send. I got access to it. Now in here, I can see everyone's data. That is what we call, can we call it PII link? Because I'm only seeing their username and ID. I can't see anything. Now these are loans I can actually approve. Oh, okay, I can't approve them. But gotten access to the admin dashboard. Let me undefined. Okay. Let's see what I can do from here. Now I've gotten access to this. Now this alone is open. It's already, on a whole new level. Let me see if I can create admin username. Um, let's say Gabriel. Password Gabriel. Gabriel. Kilo admin. Oh, it's not working. Yeah, I'm trying to create admin so I can log in as admin from that aspect. But I can see everyone's loan. Not working right. Well, this is as far as we go for now. And yes, so when Pentesting is fun, it's very, very fun. So I'll be handing the live space for now and continue some other day. Just stay tuned and stay relaxed, and we'll uncover more things and things you need to know more about web pen testing. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel if you actually go with what we're doing here, you enjoy what we're doing on here. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.